Hello, and welcome to page 28 of Volume 2 of my graphic novel comic strips, Found Earth. Trying to get back in the swing of doing these videos. I've had a soccer season and a dance season and all kinds of stuff going on. Prepping for the release of Found Earth Volume 1 through Amazon. That comes out November 1st, 2019. It will still be there years later. It's print on demand. It prints like a small paperback book. 64 pages of drawings, and then you have the cover and a few pages of formal stuff that's at the beginning, and a couple of empty pages actually, so that if I ever get around to doing conventions, then I can do a drawing on the inside or whatever for whoever. Or they're just empty drawing pages for kids to draw things in, or grown-ups while you're walking around Comic-Con and just relaxing. So, that's what I've been doing, and now I'm getting back into the swing of making these videos, even though I'm making it Sunday afternoon and it comes out Sunday evening. So, not quite in the swing of things, but I had other things going on to where I couldn't do it necessarily on schedule. But I am getting it together. So, this page has the caveman and the robots seeing the plants growing up, popping up out of the ground. And that's got to be a weird thing for somebody who's never seen that before. And it's bringing out like a protective instinct in one of the robots. We'll call him Robot 3 for now, because he doesn't have a name formally. I know what his name's going to be, but we're not there yet. So, Robot 3 suddenly feels very protective and very nurturing of the plants that come up, and super protective. We see these large teenage brontosauruses, teenage girl brontosauruses come out of nowhere, and they're talking about a date that happens later, and they're just being giggly teenage girl brontosauruses, and it's all stereotypes. Don't take any of it personally. Just humor plays on stereotypes. So that's what I'm doing, and it's all. I was raised with a brother. My first two kids were sons, and then I have a daughter. And it's all humorous to me, the differences between the two. It's just funny. And I'm enjoying the differences, and I'm enjoying seeing how they grow up differently and interact differently with the people around them. It's enjoyable, and it's all in fun. So, don't write angry letters complaining about the use of stereotypes. I'm aware it's a stereotype, and I'm aware that it's not always true. So, disclaimer aside, I'm really enjoying seeing the story come along, and sometimes it reads overlapping when you read it all in a row. And I'm aware of that. I wrote it with the idea of sending it off to a newspaper and maybe getting to see one page a day or one page a week. And so I had to make it easy for somebody to follow. Lessons to take from this one. It's easy to get excitable about the big things going on around you. It is. It's really easy. Especially with the 24-hour news cycle the way it is. It's really easy to get caught up in the big things and think that every big thing is going to affect every one of your small things. Like this robot, Robot 3, thinks that the arrival of these large brontosauruses is going to affect his little tiny plant that he likes. and they're not even aware. The big things that are going on around, a lot of the time, isn't even aware of your little portion of the universe. The plant is safe, but the robot doesn't know that. Should we be aware of the big things going on around us? Yes. Should we panic that everything is going to be the sky is falling on you specifically? No. Be aware, but not so aware that you become anxiety-ridden and panicky at everything. I think that's my advice. Yeah, I think that's my advice. To do this drawing, I use my carpenter's pencil. Love my carpenter's pencil. And went on from there. And I think I'm approaching the pages where I started to experiment with a brush pen, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. So I guess we'll get there. The panel work is, there is a lot of complex motion. Sometimes I get caught up in thinking of this like a cartoon or a motion picture, and I forget that every action, motion, reaction has to be its own panel. And so every once in a while you'll end up with a scene like the four panels with Robot 3's face. I very specifically wanted that emotion, that transition, and in my head it was just like, well, it's just a simple motion. It's not. You have to do a panel for every change. I mean, you can show motion lines for like one swift change, but for something like that, sometimes I just don't think when I write. So that'll teach me to write things like that. Just to keep in mind that each panel is its own thing. It goes into the learning my storytelling from Looney Tunes instead of, some of the comic strip stuff. A lot of my Saturday mornings were spent watching Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, all that stuff. So the cartoony aspect of it all, I think, comes from there. I recently heard that they were going to start offering all the Garfield artwork up for sale. It'll be auctioned, like a few a month for the next few years. I think that'd be a really cool thing to get into and get involved in. And that's part of the reason why I work with paper. I could probably just as easily work with digital on my iPad. It's just not the same, and I like having the original artwork. I like physical copies of things, and so that's where I'm at. Well, enough of my rambling. We're nearing the 10-minute mark, and I want to thank you for listening and watching and putting up with my musings. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go to Patreon at patreon.com/AlanDunlap and chip in $1 or $2 or a few or $1 million. Whatever you feel comfortable giving. There's artwork and there's extra artwork, and then you get to hear my rambling voice too. And you get printable copies of the pages you're watching being drawn. Thank you for contributing, Joe. and I will talk to you next week. Thank you.